of the City of Richmond. My roots in Richmond run very deep. My grandfather, one generation out of slavery, started his own business as a blacksmith here in the city. I love this community. Every time I go outside, I feel part of the history. As your mayor, education will be my top priority. I will ensure that schools are fully funded, accountable, and provide a solid education for every child. I've worked for Governors Warner and Kane and was elected to the Richmond School Board and City Council. Our next mayor must restore community trust, enact meaningful reforms, and protect everyone from violence and intimidation.
Because every child deserves to be safe.
I know who my boss is, and that's the people of the City of Richmond. For real change, I ask for your vote November 3rd.
And good evening, everybody. This is your boy Cruz, the Beast from the East. It is now 8:08 here in the Cap City. Hope that you had a great Friday. It has been absolutely fantastic. We're going to be talking with Councilman Kim Gray, who is running for the City of Richmond mayor. As you guys know, there are 5 candidates in this race. To the immediate left is Miss Tracy McLean and Justin Griffin, Alicia Rogers, who we spoke with on last night, had on the show, Mayor LeVar Stoney, who we're going to have on our show October the 29th at 7 o'clock. Hold on just one moment, everybody. Give me just a second. I want you just to continue to watch the film here, and I'll be right back.
I'm just getting home, and I logged in from my phone.
Okay, everybody, sorry about that. I was making sure that Miss Gray was able to log on, so give her just a few minutes. But as I was saying that tonight we're going to have Councilwoman Kimberly Gray on with us, and we're going to be talking about her platform. And we know it's 11 days before the November election. Actually, on tomorrow, there are going to be several locations that you can go out and vote, which is going to be City Hall, West Laburnum, and also Hickory Hill Community Center in the South Side. Those polling places will open up at 9 o'clock tomorrow from 9 to 5. They're asking everybody to make sure that you are well prepared in terms of having your PPE equipment with you, your mask, your gloves, and other protective gear, and that you remain 6 feet apart. And again, use common sense. Make sure that again you're protecting you as well as others. So, and again, we thank you for joining here. We're waiting on Kim. I actually have her on another line right now. She's trying to get in. So don't go anywhere. We want you just to sit tight, and we're going to work out, help her to get out some of these bugs that's going on in her system right now. Also, as I was saying that tonight's format, we want to and have been giving each of the candidates that we have been interviewing and will be interviewing a chance to talk about their platform and what they see themselves doing as mayor for Richmond. I personally think that it's important that each of you, that if you have not already made your choices with the early voting, you still undecided, or you'll be going to the polling places starting tomorrow. Also, not only tomorrow, but from the 26th, let me look at my notes here, from the 26th through the 31st, those same polls will be open. Hickory Hill, West Laburnum, and City Hall will be open from 8 to 5. So write this down. Starting tomorrow, and that's for the 24th, it's going to be from 24th, it's going to be 9 to 5 at Hickory Hill on Laburnum. All right, Kim, I'll tell you what.
I'm sitting in the backstage and it's not letting anything.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to improvise tonight. And and I'm going to have you on the phone, and we'll have a conversation. So we don't let anything stop us. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Let me just get one moment here. I'm going to get everybody situated, and I'm going to play your video again, and we will get started.
I'm Kim Gray, and I'm running to be your next mayor of the city of Richmond. My roots in Richmond run very deep. My grandfather, one generation out of slavery, started his own business as a blacksmith here in the city. I love this community. Every time I go outside, I feel part of the history. As your mayor, education will be my top priority. I will ensure that schools are fully funded, accountable, and provide a solid education for every child. I've worked for Governors Warner and Kane and was elected to the Richmond School Board and City Council. Our next mayor must restore community trust, enact meaningful reforms, and protect everyone from violence and intimidation.
Because every child deserves to be safe.
I know who my boss is, and that's the people of the city of Richmond. For real change, I ask for your vote November 3rd. your next mayor of the city of Richmond. My roots in Richmond run very deep. My grandfather, one generation out of slavery, started his own business as a blacksmith here in the city. I love this community. Every time I go outside, I feel part of the history. As your mayor, education will be my top priority. I will ensure that schools are fully funded, accountable, and provide a solid education for every child. I've worked for Governors Warner and Kane and was elected to the Richmond School Board and City Council. Our next mayor must restore community trust, enact meaningful reforms, and protect everyone from violence and intimidation.
Because every child deserves to be safe.
I know who my boss is, and that's the people of the city of Richmond. For real change, I ask for your vote November 3rd.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Cruise Inc. Radio 102.8 live stream. What we're going to do, based on what we have going on, Kim is actually on the phone, and so you're going to be hearing her. You can still ask her questions. We're going to follow a format, and the format, again, is allowing us to be able to ask specific questions. These questions that we're asking will be based on their platform, hers in particular, and discussing the things that you want to know that's going to impact Richmond. So, Kim, first of all, she's a mother, a civic leader. She's also a public servant. She's been on the city council since 2016, served 2 terms as the city of Richmond on the school board for the city of Richmond. So she's been in public service in those 2 aspects about 12 years. She is, in 1997, was recognized as a United Way emerging leader. She is our city councilwoman for the 2nd district, and I'd like to welcome you again to the show. Kim, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties here, but we're making our way. I'm trying to get signed on as we speak.
That's all right. Well, what we're going to do, and we're letting everybody know that I'm going to be putting a picture of you when you're speaking up on the monitor, so everybody know that you are online. I'd like to ask those that are viewing, if you can hear Kim when she's on the phone, just put a comment below and let us know that you can hear. And we're going to go on and begin talking about some of the things on your platform, Kim. And one that's been resonating and that's vitally important to the entire city, of course, is education. Want to know, Kim, what will education look like up under the Gray administration?
Well, I think it's important that every child has an individualized plan and that we are meeting the needs of our students. We've seen a 50% increase in our dropout rate under this mayor, and all the money that's being sent over to the school district is being sent without any accountability measures in place. It's really key to tie those dollars to what the needs of our teachers and students are so that they can get the quality education that they very much deserve.
Now, one of the things that we have noticed is that there has been a decrease rather in the graduation rate. In 2018, the graduation rate was 75%, and now as of 2019, it's 70%. How do you and your administration work with the school board to change that narrative?
Well, I think one of the things we're missing is a robust career and technical education program with apprenticeship opportunities. A lot of our students are leaving to take jobs on to help support their families, and they're not tying any importance to getting that diploma. And I think if we could let them work and earn a good living, I mean, the apprenticeship programs, the pay starts around $17 an hour for most of these apprenticeship programs. If we could get our students being able to earn their diploma while they're learning and acquiring those skills, I think it would be a great benefit.
Also, talking about retention, how do we retain the best and the brightest teachers within the public school system? Because we know that a lot of teachers go back into the corporate world, they go to other districts. How do we keep those teachers in our school system to benefit our children?
So I think we have to have a 5-year budget outlay, and we need to keep our word. When we were trying to decompress teacher salaries, and I worked very diligently to establish a plan, and it was a 5-year outlay. And while I was on school board, we accomplished 2 years, went over to city council, we funded those salary decompressions, and that's not the decision that the school board and the superintendent made and spending those dollars. So I think we have to make sure that we are assuring that the dollars that we send to the school district are spent in a meaningful way. And we've lost a lot of teachers due to those compressed salaries that haven't grown. There were new teachers coming in making more than veteran teachers, and it really affects morale and it affects our retention rates.
I want to say to our viewers right now, love for somebody to put in the comments section if you're able to hear Councilman Gray clearly. That will give me an indication of adjusting the mic. So if you would do us a quick favor right now, put in the comments section, I can't hear, because she's on the phone, and we want to make sure that we capture.
It says that I'm backstage, so if you could see if you can let me in the studio, maybe.
Let's see. I am not seeing you in this particular platform, so we'll continue to roll on. I think everybody still can hear you. Maybe as you continue to work that email that was sent out earlier today, maybe try that as you continue to talk with us here. Again, we do have Councilwoman Kim Gray on the phone, so we don't let technical issues stop us because you have to be flexible. Is that right, Councilman Gray?
Absolutely. We don't let anything stop us. We press on.
Yeah,
and we make lemonade out of lemons.
Absolutely. The next thing that we want to talk about is affordable housing. And I know that that's one of the major items on your platform and your agenda. Tell us about your vision for affordable housing here in the city of Richmond.
Sure. So it's multi-pronged. I think that it's important not to just put millions of dollars into this affordable housing attainment, but we need to make sure people are able to stay in their homes and keep them affordable. So home ownership retention. While I'm knocking doors, especially on the south side, I've encountered people who've seen tax increases, assessment increases of up to 135%. That can devastate a household budget and actually force someone out of their home. As homeowners struggle to stay in their homes and hold on, we should be making it easier. And I have a tax deferral program that I've had presented for almost 2 years now that the administration says we can't afford. But now we hear the data that's come out that has seen a huge decrease in home ownership among African Americans in the city, and we've got to work on that. I don't think it's just African Americans. I think it's people who have middle to low incomes, and it's harder and harder to stay in homes where the taxes keep increasing year after year. I also think that our abatement program is a great tool to utilize incentives for developers to build in affordable units within their construction projects. So mixed income, and mixed-use developments that are generating revenue, and we're able to reduce the taxes on those so that we can guarantee for the life of the tax abatement that there's going to be affordability within those apartments. So many different ways to get at this, and we need to be creative and innovative in our approach.
Now, expound a little bit more on the tax deferment and in terms of that plan and what it looks like.
So with the tax deferral, many other states allow for not tax deferrals, but tax exemptions. We're not allowed to do tax exemptions in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but we can defer taxes for homeowners who can't afford to pay those taxes. So say that your taxes increased by 40%, but you can only afford to pay 20% of that increase. You can defer those taxes, and you can continuously defer them until you sell the home, and then you pay those taxes upon the sale, or after 20 years, they would roll off your account. So it's a way for especially our older residents who want to remain in their homes but are on fixed income and don't have the ability to adjust their hours or their work schedules to accommodate higher taxes. They could defer those taxes indefinitely.
So how do we, Kim, offset the revenue if we're due to tax deferment, especially for the elderly? How do we offset that and still operate within the black and not go into the red in the city?
Well, we have tons of programs now. We're putting millions of dollars into affordable housing programming. We are investing in abatement programs. So this is just a shift in the spending in the budget that's already happening. So we would adjust it based on what we can afford. And I think there needs to be a mix. It shouldn't all be directed towards getting people's rents lowered and eviction crisis. It should also be for homeowners who are in jeopardy for losing their homes. So I think 100% of the money shouldn't go into any of those categories. I think it should be divided in a way that is equitable and that keeps our home ownership. I think for me, owning a home is the most valuable thing a vast majority of us will ever have, and that is the most valuable thing that we can pass on to our loved ones. So it's a way to build generational wealth and equity, and to really have something to hold on to for generations and generations to come. And it's sad to see so many residents who are having to sell their homes, not because they want to move on to somewhere else, but because they can no longer afford to live in the city.
Let's talk about another topic that you're very passionate about, and that's police reform.
Yes.
Explain and outline your vision for police reform.
So it involves going back to our community policing model. That we had a very good policing model where we actually had beat cops who walked the neighborhoods and the sectors that they were protecting and serving, and they got to know the residents, and they were a part of the community, and they showed up not just for the media and what we see now is a lot of pomp and circumstance, and there's a big to-do when they say we're going to walk around and the chief is going to come, and that's all fun, but the real meat and the real policing that happens is with those quiet conversations, those moments where people can feel comfortable getting to know the law enforcement officers in their communities. but not only including police officers in that mix, I think it's important to have social workers and mental health providers walking alongside our police officers. I've spent a lot of time serving our unsheltered community in the city, and there's so many things that are lacking that we need to assure that we are seeing all the way through for as far as services. And in many cases, the police are not the best responders to certain crises and certain incidents that happen in our community. So I think that we need to have a strong community connection and a mix of responders who can appropriately address situations in which people are having crisis or challenges.
Now, just recently, I believe it was today that we got some information, and I believe it came from Chief Smith, that we have had at least 27 officers that have resigned since May of 2020. How do we turn that tide and keep our good officers and those that care and do their job day in and day out? How do we keep them here in the city from being recruited by other police departments within our area?
I think there are serious challenges with morale right now, and I think that stemmed. What I'm hearing from a lot of the law enforcement professionals is we had 2 officers shot recently, and there was no official communication from the office of the mayor or from the police chief at the time. And it is such a hard job. And when officers nearly lose their lives protecting and serving our community, then we need to acknowledge that, and we need to honor them and make sure their families know that we're going to look out for them and take care of them too during their recovery.
And one of the things, I think you serve on the committee for public safety. Is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Would, in terms of the police review board, should that be a part of the department, or should that fall up under public safety? What would that look like in your administration?
The Public Safety Committee?
Yes.
Well, I think that the Public Safety Committee is an important committee of City Council, which is a separate body from the mayor. As vice chair of the Public Safety Committee, I've worked with community groups like the Richmond Transparency and Accountability Project to bring about the changes that the community was asking for, like a community civilian review board for complaints against the police, and to have better data collection that we are utilizing and understanding what's happening when stops are taking place, that we're not overly policing any one community, that discriminatory practices can be identified through the data, and that we can address those things. So I think that there are useful things that go on in these public conversations and committees, and as mayor, it's important to be connected with those conversations and to understand what the community is asking us to do.
Now, I know, if I'm, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the Richmond Housing Authority has a separate police department within the housing developments. Would it be beneficial to have the Richmond Police Department precinct within the public housing, or that Richmond Housing Authority at this time continues to, I guess, work, for lack of a better word, at this stage?
Well, I think that we have to rethink how we move forward with respect to public housing and how we can transition people out of the substandard housing that we have. If you have ever spent any time in Many of our public housing communities, they are long past their useful life. It is very, it's disheartening to see the conditions in which people are being forced to live. So we have to come with some serious plans on how to renovate and revitalize those communities. And I think that we're going to have to approach it, because the federal dollars are drying up. We're going to have to approach it with public-private partnerships and creative and innovative solutions, and how we can make it financially attractive for private development to come in and assist us in providing for the public housing that we so desperately need.
Let's talk about your economic and community development plan. I know that you have an aggressive strategy, and so let's talk about that strategy under your administration.
So I have several different areas that I think are key to our economic revitalization. But one of the most exciting proposals, and it's not my idea, it just was brought to me as the representative of Jackson Ward, is to reconnect the part of Jackson Ward that the highway divided by putting a cap over the highway and building on top of that, putting a park space, putting apartments, affordable housing, putting storefronts that we can incubate small minority businesses and help them to grow and thrive, so that we can revisit the days of the Black Wall Street that we were known for back in the day, in the Harlem of the South. I think that restoring the fabric of Jackson Ward is key to our healing, and it's key to our economic prosperity.
One of the things that a question that keeps coming up, and as I talk to the public, they would like to know, for any incoming mayor, how do you draw the businesses back downtown that are either shutting down or due to the pandemic or whatever circumstances they are? Oh, well, hello. Okay, everybody, we do now have Kim on the monitor, so I am going to remove the picture, and there she is.
Hi, can you hear me? I don't know. I think I like the picture better than how I'm looking at this hour. But I finally got in.
Great. I'm glad that we got everything resolved, and we can continue to move forward. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. So I was asking about how would your administration change again the complexity of downtown and bring back those businesses that may have left because of the pandemic, or to bring in new businesses?
Well, I think we have to reassure the existing businesses that they can reopen and be free from vandalism and looting that's taken place. We just last Friday had more broken windows in our downtown, and for a lot of these businesses, these incidents weren't covered on their insurance. So believe it or not, many of them have had to come out of pocket to cover those expenses, and that, coupled with COVID-19, have taken many of our downtown businesses under. So I think as a municipality, we need to really, really push hard to help with tax bills that may fall behind, to assist with any kind of grant proposals we can put forward for improvements or repairs due to the issues that people are experiencing downtown. And we've got to bring back our walking beats downtown after hours. People, and it's disheartening. I've lived downtown, but when I have people tell me they're afraid to come to our downtown, it really breaks my heart, because so many people have staked it all and invested everything they have in our downtown areas. And we need to get it back to where it was pre-COVID and pre-civil unrest period.
Are there any federal funding that would also give a lot of the businesses and business owners a facelift of the property along West, of Broad Street and Main and within that downtown area?
Well, there are typical grants that we have. I just would like us to have more flexibility and maybe put more dollars into those grant proposals. We have CARE grants, not to be confused with CARES Act grants, which are federal dollars that we've gotten because of COVID. We have pushed forward with CARES Act funding, but I'm still getting calls from business owners in our downtown who have been devastated by all of the looting and destruction that still haven't heard back from the city. So we've got to get responses to people very quickly. Some are holding on month to month by a thread. They don't know if they need to lay off employees as PPP dollars are going away. So we've got to be able to respond in real time and provide the assistance to those businesses so they can survive, which means they'll produce revenue for our future. If they go away, it's so much harder to get someone in to do what they've been doing all along. So it's in our best interest to provide those businesses and those entrepreneurs with all the assistance we can at the local level so that long-term we continue to reap the benefits of their presence in our downtown.
Now, Richmond has about a $30 billion budget. In your administration, do you see increasing that budget, leveling out the budget? What is your vision in terms of the budget for the city?
So we need better transparency. There have been, we went from hearing that there was roughly a $5 million surplus to then $12 million surplus to then a $19 million surplus, all in a matter of a few weeks. Either someone is really bad at finances and budgeting and they don't know what the dollars are, or there's some deception going on with our budgeting process. So we've got to be really clear about what we're budgeting for. That's why I want to push forward with a 5-year budget outlay, and we set our priorities and move forward with that. And I also think that if we are funding positions, but those positions have gone vacant, and that's what happens in our city budget, and that's why it takes forever to get services or to get a return phone call, because many of these positions go unfilled for extended periods of time, and that's how we accumulate dollars at the end of the year. So we need to know, and as a council person, believe it or not, we've asked for transparency, we've asked for more data, but we don't see what positions are actually filled and what positions remain open throughout the year. And that's how, people who want to have money left over may starve an operation and on the administrative side and not hire those much needed positions.
Kim, we know that even in this country and within our city, there's a lot of polarization, a lot of dividing. How do, up under your administration, we start healing the city and being perhaps that example for the rest of the country?
Well, I think that we have a unique opportunity in Richmond. I think we have failed to tell all of our history, and some of our history is not pleasant. But in order for us to move forward, we have to accept and embrace our history, and we need to tell the whole story. And we need to make sure that it's part of the overall curriculum that we're teaching in our school districts. And we need to come together and dialogue. And the only way we move forward is to unite and to come together and find some common ground and peace. So I think that in many cases has to be facilitated and it has to be deliberate. And we can all accomplish great things when we're pulling in the same direction. When we're divided, it makes us all weak. So I would love to have a better way for us to dialogue and find common ground and find consensus and common vision and move forward. And I think as mayor, that is one of the big part of the responsibilities is bringing people together and finding common ground and pulling together in the same direction.
Now, I mentioned earlier that the polls are going to be, well, I said satellite offices or satellite polling will begin tomorrow at the Hickory Hill location starting at 9 o'clock, also at the West Laburnum and City Hall. And then October the 26th through the 31st, the same locations just an hour earlier. And then Saturday, October the 31st, a week from tomorrow, it's going to be 9 to 5. There's still people, Kim, that are still undecided or have not cast their vote. What do you say to those people to assure them that you are the best candidate of the 5 that's running for the mayor of the city of Richmond?
Well, one thing that is for sure, I've lived my entire life here, half a century in our city. I am a dedicated public servant. I know who my boss is, and that's the people who elected me. And as mayor, it will be the people of the city of Richmond. And I know where power lies, and that's with the people. So it's really important to stay with the community and stay connected. I'm a Richmond Public Schools parent. I'm the only candidate who has children in our schools, and I've raised 5 children to adulthood who all went to Richmond Public Schools. I'm a Richmond Schools graduate myself. I'm a Mighty Viking and grew up in the real West End. And I think those community connections are critical when we are considering who should take the lead. I have 12 years of experience in our city's budget, but I have even more experience working in our communities and working at the state level for Governors Warner and Kane. And I know policy and I know how to work things through the General Assembly as needed. And I know how to get things through school board and city council. So I think when we're reaching these uncharted spaces and times and uncertainty with COVID-19 and all the things that are to come, it's going to take a dedicated, ethical, and experienced leader to guide us through that.
One other side question here, and we should have touched on this when we were talking about education. You had mentioned that you would like to see an extensive effort to make sure that all the children in the city have adequate access to computers and also the internet to make things better and so they can log on and have a productive school year. What would be your plan day one to basically rectify and to increase the bandwidth and access to cable and computers?
So unfortunately, it takes more than one day. Day one, I will begin implementing the plan. I worked on a plan for 2 years as a school board member and then transitioning into my service on city council. And we presented that plan to the mayor to increase and expand broadband access, especially in those dependent communities that don't have typical broadband access. So I am committed to making that a reality and working with Verizon and working with Comcast and our broadband providers. And that's what I did for the 2 years. And we had a solid plan to move forward in providing that access, and especially in our public housing communities, and utilizing school buildings to transmit those Wi-Fi signals as well. So I think that it's a very doable plan, and because we have a blueprint for it, we can get it implemented in a rapid way, but it's not going to happen overnight. And we shouldn't be in the situation we're in right now. We should have been working on it all along. And it's part of the reason why I decided to run for mayor and challenge the current mayor and his administration.
Well, one of the things I know that a mayor should be able to do is not be rabbled. And based on the fact that we had some technical difficulties, you didn't get to rabble. So that's
no, I go through it. I, apologize for that.
No need to. What we're going to do, Kim, we're going to play your commercial, and then we're going to give you the closing words on this special broadcast tonight.
Thank you. I'm Kim Gray, and I'm running to be your next mayor of the city of Richmond. My roots in Richmond run very deep. My grandfather, one generation out of slavery, started his own business as a blacksmith here in the city. I love this community. Every time I go outside, I feel part of the history. As your mayor, education will be my top priority. I will ensure that schools are fully funded, accountable, and provide a solid education for every child. I've worked for Governors Warner and Kane and was elected to the Richmond School Board and City Council. Our next mayor must restore community trust, enact meaningful reforms, and protect everyone from violence and intimidation.
Because every child deserves to be safe.
I know who my boss is, and that's the people of the city of Richmond. For real change, I ask for your vote November 3rd.
All right, Kim.
Or sooner.
Absolutely. Do you want to tell me? Exactly. You want to tell me about, again, the satellite locations tomorrow for us?
Sure. We are going to be, and we'll be out there. I'll be at Hickory Hill tomorrow, 3000 Belt Boulevard, and from 9 to 5. And we've got City Hall opening up for early voting, 900 East Broad Street. And we've got the main registrar's location. I want to say that address, but I don't want to get it wrong.
I just been saying West Laburnum.
Yes.
Yeah, 3400, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere along there.
Is it 3421, something like that? I don't want to give the wrong address, but we will be. You will be able to vote tomorrow from 9 to 5, and please come out if you are. It's been very efficient. People are really excited to be able to go in and vote and be out within 5 to 10 minutes. It's pretty well run, and I expect the same tomorrow. And if you want to beat the rush on November 3rd, please come out and vote early.
That address is 2134 West.
2134. That's what I was going to say that instead of 3400.
See how technology is. We can just get the answer right away.
2134 West Laburnum. Absolutely.
And first of all, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us tonight. And again, we wanted to make sure that we gave you an opportunity to talk to the citizens about your platform so that they can make informed decisions. Those that are still going to the polls either this week or November 30th. I want to tell everybody again, if you go into the polls, please wear your mask. Make sure that you have that social distancing. Make sure you have your sanitizers with you. And again, go early and make sure you bring somebody with you and make it a family affair if you can. So, Kim, any last words?
Well, just so folks know, if you have mobility issues, there is curbside voting, and you pull right up and they will bring the machine to your car. So you don't have to try to walk into the voting precinct. So that is available at all of these voting locations. It's really important. And Cruz, thank you for always being such a advocate in our community and showing up. Showing up is more than half the battle. You are everywhere where the action is happening. And thank you for doing what you do to get information out to folks. I would be honored to have the support and the vote of your viewers and listeners. And we're going to forge on and continue the fight for the Richmond that we all know and love.
Absolutely. And Kim, thank you so much. Hopefully you get a little rest between now and being back at the polls early in the morning. And I'm sure you'll probably see this gray beard somewhere out there tomorrow.
Well, I look forward to seeing you out there.
All right. You have a great night.
Great. You too. Thank you again for allowing me this opportunity.
Absolutely. Hey, everybody, don't go anywhere. Just a couple more minutes and we will again be out there. Want to let everybody know again, we appreciate you guys tuning in to Cruise Inc. Radio 102.8 TV live stream broadcast. Because you care and because you support us, we're able to do this, and we do it because we love this city, we love this country, and we want to make sure that we're helping everybody to make informed decisions and getting you the unbiased, I want to underline that, the unbiased information and resources. So thank you so much. See you guys at the polls. If you have any questions about our programming, you can email us at cruisincradio@gmail.com. That's cruisincradio@gmail.com. Don't forget to go out to our radio station, man. We got the best music. If you want to, Kim, if you want to relax at 10 o'clock, it is Smooth Jazz Weekend with Tina E.
I love it. I love it.
And then right after that, we're going to put you to bed with After Dark with Al Seaford at from 11 to midnight. So by midnight, you'll probably be asleep. So we got some great music. I'll be up
working, believe it or not, but I'm getting prepared for the polls tomorrow. But it's probably good working music too.
Absolutely. As we say, it is the best music on the internet. So everybody go out there, cruisincradio.com.
Wonderful.
You guys have a beautiful Friday night. And as I always say, whatever comes from the heart reaches the heart. Let somebody know how much you love them and care for them before it's everlasting too late. Unfortunately, we have lost over 200,000 people in this country, and the COVID rates are spiking. So be concerned about other people. Be considerate of other people in your own families. Do the right things. Protect your family. Protect your loved ones. And more importantly, and just as important, protect yourself. God bless you all. You have a great night.
God bless you too.